Okay, Ms. Pringle, you are suing 54th Street Auto Center Incorporated, represented here by Laura Santana. You're the owner?
Yes.
For $5,000, a statutory maximum, according to you, the value of your 2005 Chrysler Pacifica, which you say they ruined.
Yes.
Tell me what happened.
Well, on November 22nd, 2014, my daughter, my fiance, and myself was coming from 65th Street, and we were able to drive all the way up to 114th Street when the car had started to overheat. So we pulled over because we didn't want it to go all the way up to the H. And I called AAA. And AAA said the tow truck company would be coming. And I waited for about 2 hours for the tow truck. And when the driver came, he asked us what was wrong with the vehicle. And we told him that the vehicle was overheating. So he proceeded to turn the vehicle on and put it on the flatbed. And he had
How did he turn the vehicle on?
With the key. He asked for the key.
And then he drove it onto the flatbed, and then
yes. What? After that, he got out of the vehicle, leaving the car on.
Why would he leave the car on?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
And you just said that he was with you?
Yes, he was.
You didn't say that in your statement. You said it was you and your daughter. You never have mentioned him.
Well, I didn't mention him being in the tow truck because he couldn't fit. But he was driving the Chrysler.
I just read the beginning of your complaint, which was, on November 22nd, I was driving home with my 13-year-old daughter in my Chrysler Pacifica. You have never mentioned him. Is he now? He saw everything? You brought a witness to court?
Yeah, he was driving the Chrysler.
You know that's totally different than what your complaint says. You're the owner of the company?
Yes, I am.
Is the tow truck driver here?
No, he's not.
Why not?
He was on vacation in Guatemala, but I do have a statement from him. He's been working for me for 30 years.
Let me cross-examine it. Go ahead. All right, so what happens? You call them, they finally come, you're waiting 2 hours, you're wondering why you paid for AAA, and then what happened?
Right. The car was running. He changed.
Can you think of any purpose why that would be true? That somebody would leave a car running on the flatbed all the way to...
I have no idea. But he did it. He did not check to see what was going on with the vehicle. And for about 15 to 20 minutes, when we were ready to pull off, he cut the car off, and my daughter and I got into...
And you told him the car's overheating, and then he just had it sitting there idling. That's what the tow truck did.
He asked us what was wrong, yes.
Okay. I take it you don't agree with that set of facts.
No, what he does is he opens the ignition. He doesn't actually have it running, just so that he could...
accessory or whatever?
Yes, so that he could move the wheel so he could steer it to get it in position to winch it up the tow truck. And then procedure is he takes the keys out and puts them in his pocket, and then he got into the truck and started driving. He went about 1 block, and the car engulfed in flames.
Wow.
So I'm strictly
Tell me when you realized that your car was on fire.
It wasn't about 1 block. It was about 3 blocks. Okay, about 3 blocks when I started to see fire in the rear view passenger mirror. And I looked.
And where's your witness when that's happening?
Excuse me?
Where is your witness when that's happening?
He's in the car. He's actually in the Chrysler Pacifica because the driver allowed him to ride in the car.
Stand up, please. Were you in a car that burst into flames?
Yes, I was.
He allowed him to drive in the vehicle because it wasn't no room.
Drive in the vehicle? You mean sit in the vehicle?
Sit in the vehicle in the back seat because there was no room next to him because it was myself and my daughter next to him.
And then?
And like I said, after about 3 blocks, I started to see in the rear view side mirror fire. And my head, I looked back and I said, is that fire? That's fire. And I was very nervous. And I said, oh my God, that's fire, that's fire. He did not respond to me. He did not say 1 word, which I found very strange. He didn't say, ma'am, calm down, or where. He kept looking straight and he kept driving. I reached over and I grabbed the lock and I opened it and I jumped out the vehicle while it was moving. And I told my daughter, come on. And she jumped out.
Your 13-year-old jump out of a moving vehicle.
She jumped out the car as well. Because at this point, before I jumped out, the fire was blasting behind us. But it was a mirror, like you could see through a glass. And it was just shooting. It was engulfed. When I dropped out, I fell to the ground and the car was engulfed. I have pictures.
And why is he not dead? What happened?
Yeah, exactly. When I got out, I was just...
I'm dying to hear from him. I want to hear what happened.
burn. The testimony continues.
What it might lead me to believe is that he didn't see anything, he wasn't there, and you thought today that it would help your case to bring a witness who says he saw it. That's what the cynic in me might say.
Your car. Let's listen.
Your Honor, after the tow truck started driving, she said it was about 3 blocks. I think it was about 2 blocks. I started noticing smoke coming from under the hood. And I said to myself, wait, what's going on? Maybe it's coming from the tow truck muffler, because all the time we had the car driving, I hadn't seen smoke at all. Then I started hearing car horns blowing next to us. Then the smoke started getting heavier and heavier. Then I noticed more and more car horns blowing.
Well, it's fascinating because you're sitting there and you have eyeballs.
I'm in the
so
rear.
How is it if you really were there and you're sitting there in his eyeballs and the thing is going up in flames
right now,
that you're just sitting there watching the wheels go by?
I'm in the rear seat. I wasn't in the front seat.
What
And
difference does that make?
I see smoke. I'm in the back.
And you're going to stay there and wait until more and more cars honk their horns and in slow motion, and you're just going to stay there till you just blow up to smithereens.
When the tow truck finally decided to pull over, that's when I immediately jumped out the truck. I wasn't jumping out of a moving vehicle. More and
so
more,
what happens once the car is engulfed in flames? Who's doing what?
After that, I got out, and people in the neighborhood was gathering around. And the tow truck driver, there was no fire extinguisher for him to extinguish the fire. And people in the neighborhood was taking their phones out. And they said, call the fire department. The fire department came and extinguished the fire.
Right. Yeah.
If I may, as soon as I jumped out the truck, there was so much smoke, I couldn't see the front of the tow truck, but I could hear her yelling, Barry, where are you? Where are you? I said, I'm over here.
That's such a fascinating thing to have omitted from your complaint, that there was a human being inside of the...
It's the first time I ever rode on a car being towed on a flatbed. He told me he wasn't...
Yeah, you would think it would be worth mentioning.
He told me he wasn't supposed to do that, but he was going to do that to save me the cab fare. I said, oh, I appreciate it. I thought it would be fun sitting there.
The tow report? Do you have anything else from him besides this statement? I presume you talked to him when he came and told you. You wouldn't believe what happened. Did he ever mention that there was a person inside of the...
No.
Of course not.
Absolutely not.
Uh-huh. Would that be permissible or not?
No. You cannot have anybody sitting in a vehicle on top of the flatbed.
Uh-huh.
And I don't really understand how she jumped out of a moving truck. This flatbed is pretty high off the ground.
Right.
I believe my driver pulled over, like he said, when he saw the flames. He dialed 911. And
right.
He said he has a fire extinguisher. I have pictures of my trucks. They all have fire extinguishers. And he said it was too engulfed. Like she said, it was very engulfed, and he was afraid it was going to blow up.
Right.
So he said he dialed 911, and that was it. But I just don't feel that me transporting a car, that I should be responsible for their
I'm still
fire
stuck.
damage.
I'm just completely still stuck on the fact that she decided to bring a witness to court today who saw the whole thing to buttress her testimony and never mentioned him anywhere in this lawsuit, ever. And not only is he a witness, but he's a witness who's inside of an engulfed car. That would be the first thing I would mention if he had been inside. And, you know, my fiance almost went up and smoked. Like, I would expect to see that in here. What it might lead me to believe is that he didn't see anything, he wasn't there, and you thought today that it would help your case to bring a witness who says he saw it. That's what the cynic in me might say. You're sitting in the car in the back seat and the motor's running?
No.
Okay.
No, it was running for 20 minutes while he was hooking it up, chaining it up. Then he jumped in while I'm in the back seat.
The car was running for 20 minutes while he chained it up.
Yeah. He started the car, he drove it up on the flatbed, brought it down, proceeded to chain it up. I'm jumping in the back seat. He said, yo, Poppy, don't make nobody see you. Stay behind the tinted windows. He locked off the car, left the keys in the ignition. She said he took the keys out of the ignition. He didn't. He left it right there. Because when I started seeing the car smoking, I'm saying to myself, wait, the car is off.
So if you guys noticed a car that had been overheating on for 20 minutes, why didn't you tell him to take it off? Says you had been driving it, you know it was overheating.
Yeah, but it went a little bit above half. It didn't go all the way up to the H. So I'm thinking he's just...
Really? Because it sounds like complete and utter baloney. That's what it sounds like to me.
We didn't start the fire, so she says. Will the plaintiff get $5 grand? Judge Milian rules next.
A shocking charge.
She's not my daughter, Your Honor.
Have no...
Not in my experience, no.
Why does it not make sense?
Well, because I think that this is what these people do for a living.
Well, that's true too, but why else doesn't it make
Well,
sense?
any reputable, hopefully towing company would have the capacity to know you can't leave a car running, do damage to the car it's on. If they can prove that the car itself was already damaged, that would be...
Well, that's true. But what's the big thing about this? Because the car was on the flatbed because it was overheating. What's the big reason why?
Well, I mean, the car must be broken or something's wrong.
Yeah, but guys, the car could blow up if it's just sitting there and it's overheating while it's on the flatbed, and the driver could get hurt, right? I answered that really well, didn't I?
So we should try again, right?
Thank you. No, I think I got it.
You're good.
Going inside the courtroom.
It sounds like, it turns out you couldn't make an insurance claim on your own insurance, right? Because you don't have the kind of coverage that pays for your own car, right?
I don't have full coverage. no.
Right, right. And then you call Chrysler to tell Chrysler it has to be something that's wrong with the car. Okay, there must have been a defect in the car that made it go on fire, but you couldn't get Chrysler to pay you. And so now you're suing them and on this theory that they blew up your car, right?
First question.
No, wait, I have to hear what she has to say about that. Go ahead.
Well, Your Honor, I didn't know what caused the fire.
Well, no,
that
you're saying they caused the fire. Their incompetent employee caused the fire. That's
I
what you're
said
saying.
they are liable. I feel like they are liable, yes. When all of this happened, I didn't know what to do. I called NHTSA, the National Highway Safety. I didn't know. They told me, reach out to your manufacturer. Reach out to, they told me to take these channels. I didn't know what
Does
to do.
anybody have pictures?
I do have pictures.
Oh, let me see.
And Your Honor, he did not have a fire extinguisher.
Did not.
We asked him, and he did not have one.
That was the first
And
question
it's in
I
the
asked him.
fire report. I have a fire report. He did not
Let me
have
see the fire report.
He did not have a fire extinguisher.
Wow.
That was the first thing we asked him.
Glasses.
Did the fire damage the tow truck?
Yes. But I have full coverage, and my insurance company paid me to replace and repair my truck.
Where did you say I was going to find that he didn't have a fire extinguisher?
I didn't say that. I said he did not have one.
You
All
said it's
my
right in the
trucks
fire
are equipped.
report. You said it's right in the fire report.
Right, the fire report stating that they put the fire out.
Well, of course they put the fire. That's what they're supposed to do. But I thought you said that I was going to find out that he didn't have a fire extinguisher. Yeah, all your trucks should have
All
fire
my
extinguishers.
trucks have fire extinguishers.
And, but all your personnel don't have to risk their lives in order
Exactly.
to...
It was too engulfed to
Yeah.
use.
Ms. Pringle, this was fun, but I am not going to make that lady hand you $5,000 because your car went on fire, because I don't believe you when you say that your car was overheated and that you watched somebody before your very eyes continue to overheat and run it into the ground and said nothing. I don't believe you when you file a complaint that says you and your 13-year-old daughter were driving along, you and your 13-year-old daughter got into the tow truck, you and your 13-year-old daughter got out of the tow truck, and never once mentioned your fiance, who I know, you know, and everyone within the sound of both of our voices know was not there. And I find it offensive that you want somebody else to foot the bill for this. It's unfortunate that it happened to you, but that's what insurance is for, or it's just a bad thing that happened to you. It doesn't become a bad thing that happened to her. Verdict for the defendant.
When plaintiff comes out with nothing and you actually insulted the judge a little bit by